Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Brilliant Marketing with Mary show. I'm so excited for you to be here today, and we have so much awesomeness to share with you. I'm actually excited because I have an amazing guest who is going to help you make your content go viral. Yes, this amazing girl is actually an influencer. People like say, oh, influencer this, influencer that. Well, this girl actually is an influencer, and I have known her since she was, this is an old term, knee high to a grasshopper. I've seen her grow up and become this amazing, amazing woman of God and so talented in the digital marketing space. And I'm just so thrilled because, again, known her since she was young, and she has just blossomed and taken the world by storm. And she's actually being hired by brands to help promote them. And she's going to help you as a small business owner do the same thing for your brand. So I want to introduce her today because I'm just absolutely thrilled to have time with her. I actually see her in the theater every once in a while, where we grew up together, I'd like to say, because I'm really just a child at heart, right? But I'm going to read her amazing biography before I bring her on, because I know she'll be embarrassed. And maybe there's one person in the world who doesn't know her. So I'm going to read this so you can actually learn who she is. So her name is Gabby Gonta, and she is a brand strategist, content creator, and on-camera host whose social media content strategy has gained tens of millions with an M of views for her personal brand, as well as household name brands like Amazon, Mars, Sony, Pop Sockets, and more. I just love following her on social media. She's so much fun. And her company is Digital Magician Studios, and it's a creator-led social media marketing agency that specializes in viral TikTok content for brands. So without further ado, let me bring up the beautiful, the wonderful, the smart, the funny, the charming Gabby Gonta. Here she is. Yay!
Oh my gosh, what an intro. Thank you so much, Mary.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. Well, seriously, Gabby, I was asked her permission to share this because I don't know what year did you join CAT, which is the local children's theater in our area that my children grew up in. What age did you start?
I remember seeing my first show at CAT was The Wizard of Oz when I think I was 8 or 9 years old. And then I finally started auditioning when I was 10. And I did shows all throughout graduating high school in 2018, which is no, 2014. I did graduate college in 2018,
Okay.
which was so long ago now. But yeah, I spent so much of my childhood at CAT and met so many amazing people like you and your family.
Oh, that's so sweet. And I love your family, so it's fun. In fact, your mom, I texted her and I said, Gabby's gonna be on my show. She was all excited. So
Yay!
yay, that's awesome. You come from good stock, girl. So we're gonna talk today about how to make your content go viral. And I have tons and tons of questions for you. And she also, just a little, announcement. She also just agreed to be in my new book that's coming out called Influence,
Yay!
and it's basically how people who are considered influencers in their market, not only on social media, but in real life, how they've grown to be an influence in their industry and how they use their influence for good and not evil. Because I truly believe
Yeah.
that we all have the capacity, right? And there's a term, Gabby, I don't remember. Is it heavy is the head that wears the crown? There's a term like when you have a lot of responsibility or you have a lot of influence, you have a responsibility to people who are watching you. Have you ever heard that term before?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that it's just a lot of power. Learn how to use it and how you want to use it and who you want to be and who you want to help other people become as well.
Right. Exactly. So I was just thinking that before we get started, because again, I have so many questions for you, like how you got started, how did you get into this industry? What did you do? What did you do right? And what did you do wrong? Like things like sometimes people go, I wish I would have known. Like we don't know what we don't know until we know it and they go, oh my gosh. And if you can
Yes.
help someone like leapfrog over those landmines, that's what I love to do. It's like when I hear people who are doing certain things, I've been in business for 34 years and I'm only 35. So, wow. That's my story. I
Amazing.
have something to it. Is I love when I see people doing something, I'm like, well, wait, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So I would love for you to share some of those as well. But before we get going, I want to show um, your sizzle reel, your content reel that might give people a little bit more um, kind of breadth of what you guys do at your company. Is that okay if we show that first? Okay,
Sure.
cool.
Yeah, let's do
Awesome.
it.
So I'm going to bring it up and then I'm going to bring us down into the green room so everybody can see it. And then if you guys have questions in the comments when the show airs, we will definitely circle back and answer your questions. So let's bring this up and we'll bring us down and we will get started. Okay, here we go. Wow. All right. Fantastic. Can you imagine this? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm bringing you back up on screen. That was so impressive. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's brings me to my first question. How did you get started in doing this?
Yeah, so I actually got started, I would say, all the way back doing theater, like we were mentioning before.
Right?
And, that just made me really comfortable in front of the camera and, really enjoying being just, a representative of myself and showing my personality, but like also just performing. Like I loved doing that. When I went to college, I studied broadcast journalism at
Oh,
Pepperdine and graduated with that. And then I ended up going to USC for a master's program after that, also in broadcast journalism. And so,
I
I always
forgot
thought
that. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot
yeah.
that. Well, I'm gonna have to end the interview right now because I'm a Bruin and I have a rule. I'm
Oh,
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
so
You have
funny.
a fantastic program. I'm very proud of you. It was just my way to dig, in the
No, of
anyways, go
course,
ahead.
of
I'm so
course.
sorry. Yeah, so tell me about okay,
Um,
masters at you so seriously, wow. I remember you going through that and I was so impressed with you. So what did they now I know you don't have to get a degree to become an influencer or do what you do, but tell me how you felt that that gave you an edge or an advantage.
yeah, of course. So I went in studying broadcast journalism. I know I wanted to be on camera because I just feel very comfortable and excited doing that. So I thought I wanted to become a news reporter, local news, kind of go up the ranks and do all of that. And I did a couple internships, one at NBC here in LA, and I was doing a lot of like breaking news and chasing the fire and the car chases and all those things. And
Exciting.
um, it was really fun, and I enjoyed being on camera, but it just became, like, really heavy for me, and I didn't see, like, a long-term career doing that, so I transitioned more into, like, the entertainment space, where I felt like it was just more lighthearted and fun, and, found that I liked that, so I started going more of the entertainment route, and that's what I really studied at USC was, like, entertainment broadcast journalism.
Oh,
But then I also realized, I didn't want to necessarily move to the small town and like do reporting and like maybe make it up, back to LA one day. I really wanted to stay here and stay within the entertainment industry. So that's when I kind of transitioned instead into doing social media content where I was still on camera, I was still creating, visual video content, which has always been what I'm best at, I think. And I think it was a great decision because with just the numbers and the sheer amount of people on social media and online right now, like I get more views on my social media videos than I probably would if I was on TV, like real TV. So I
Right.
think
Right.
it's kind of the perfect combination of everything I love.
Yeah, if you look at the statistics, I mean, I'm mobile Mary, right? So I was kind of on the cutting edge of people being on their mobile phone, and I actually, to be honest, feel a little guilty that now people spend so much time on their phone and they don't lift their head and experience the world. I'm like, you could put it down now. But I remember when I first started back in 2000, 7 is when I first got into the mobile space. I launched software in 2009. Like literally people were like, I would go speak on stages as an innovation expert, right? And people would be like, well, we have a family phone. Like we keep it in the car for
Yeah.
emergencies. I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, in 5 years, you
Yeah.
literally won't leave the house without your phone, your wallet, and your keys. Like those are the things. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, see you then, walk off the stage. So again, I kind of push people to go into mobile. So again, I take full responsibility for it. I apologize. But but it's so true. I think it's a whole new world. And it used to be called the third screen. Now it's the first screen. Like people read their email, they get their data, their news, everything, and again, you have a desktop. I'm sitting in front of a desktop. Um, but there's a different reason. So obviously these social platforms have totally taken off. And I love that are living in this amazing generation that like that is a thing that you can again use for good, and there's some people who use it for
Yeah.
evil, which, that's we're trying to encourage the good. So I love that people are going to follow you and not someone who won't teach that. So I love that. Okay. So the other question is, we just looked at your demo reel and it was so impressive because I've actually been watching you for years, representing other brands, but you're on the screen. But a lot of that was the company out in front, like you're not. So tell me like what the difference is and like maybe share a client success story.
Yeah, for sure. So, we've done out of my company that we've had going for about a little over 2 years now. We've done a lot of different services. There was a lot of, VFX. Some of it's vertical video for social media. Some of it's horizontal for like YouTube. So we've done a lot. I think what we're focusing on right now is now the vertical video TikTok content. And basically our business model right now is to take a brand who wants to either start on TikTok, maybe they're not on TikTok yet, or refresh their page. We'll work with them. And then basically what we do is we hire a content creator to become the face of their brand, because we find, that's the best way to really personify a brand, is to put kind of a name and a face and a personality behind it so people can relate to you that way.
I love that.
That works especially well on TikTok. So that's what we like to pitch brands. We're going to find the perfect creator that's going to represent your brand and really become a part of it and represent it well. So what we did most recently was with pop sockets. So, the little plastic circle on the back of your phone, right? Common name. Yeah. Oh, she's got one. Yeah. I've got
In
one
fact,
too
this
right
is a
here.
case that has a pop socket built into it.
Look at that. I love
So
that.
it goes flat when I'm,
Mhm.
so I bought the case that had it. Like it was like a combination of otter and pop socket. I love it.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah. In case you
Yeah.
need
So,
a little bit older of a testimonial, you let me know.
yeah,
Someone
exactly.
who's in their
Okay, for
30s.
sure.
Just kidding. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, they're one of our most recent clients, and they had a TikTok page before, but it looked like a TV commercial. It wasn't, platform. It wasn't good for the platform. So basically, we rehauled everything, came up with a new content strategy. We hired two super fun Gen Z creators with, a really good dynamic, and they were our full-time creators for them. I think they produced uh like 10 to 20 videos per week for us to post, which is about 2 or 3 per day, Monday through Friday, which is just churning out a ton of content.
Yeah.
So I was the head of content for that, coming up with the brainstorming and the ideas and the execution and doing the research. and leading that team of our creators and, other assistants and things like that. So we did that for them for a few months. We gained, I think, about 70,000 or so followers in 3 or 4 months. And it
Fantastic.
was, yeah, it was super fun. I mean, it was, so in that case, I guess, we hired other people to be the face of that brand. One of our other clients is Naudry Jewelry, which is a special occasion jewelry brand. So maybe you've seen them in Nordstrom or Bloomingdale's, but this is my like set for them back here. That's why it's very like jewelry and fashion.
Oh, cool.
Um,
I actually pulled them up on TikTok. So if we have time, I can show some of what you're doing there too. This is awesome.
yeah, if you look up Naudry Jewelry on TikTok, it's just all of my face as well. Because for them, we hired myself to be their creator because it just kind of made sense.
Right.
For I was good for their demographic and kind of knew the space, working in fashion before. So in that case, I'm their creator and the face of that brand. So that's kind of what we do with our current business model and hiring creators and me being a creator as well.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask you that, but your agency's business model is, and so you just kind of answered that, which is awesome. But as a piggyback onto that question, how can, if I was a small business watching this and I was like, well, I'd like to be the face of my business because obviously everyone is the face of their own business, even though they're like thinking, oh no, I don't want to, whatever. You have to get over that because,
Mhm.
right, people want to buy from a person. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's why brands like Nike picked on, Michael Jordan, right? Because he had a good positive influence, right? And people could relate to him. They wanted to be like him and they wanted to buy the shoes he was wearing, right?
Mhm.
So how would you suggest that someone start being the face of their business and what would be something they could do so they could make their brand go viral?
Yeah, for sure. I think just really being authentic to like who you are and your brand story and not being shy to or scared to like be authentic, I guess, right? Like even with me with my personal brand, so apart from DMS and the agency work, I have my own personal brand, which is Gabby's Gift Guide, which I'm sure we'll talk about more. But
Yeah.
for that, that's like my personal brand, what I want to become, like building that into more of a small business. So in that case, like um I'm a millennial slash Gen Z person, so I'm like on the edge. So I like, grew up pretty much without social media and then like got into it in like high school and college and stuff like that, right? When Instagram and everything was so much like, edit your pictures to be perfect and like, everything has to look beautiful and perfect, right? If you're going to post it on the internet. And now that's just like not the case anymore. Everyone wants to see your authentic self and like unedited pictures and videos, and they want to see the behind the scenes, and not everything has to be perfect. So that's what I struggle with, is trying to like make everything I put out like polished and beautiful, but like that stuff doesn't perform well. I've seen it's the like behind the scenes and the like, oh, the mess up moment or whatever. Like that's what people relate to because that's what real life is, right? So I would say don't be afraid to show like the hard times or the behind the scenes, because you'll be surprised that that's what people actually want to see.
Right. Thank you for saying that. I have been telling that to my clients for years because you look at the numbers on the back end, right? The numbers don't
Mm-hmm.
lie. And people love, I mean, it's like we're in reality TV time, right? It's,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
did you ever see the movie Truman with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was back in the 90s, I think, but it was basically he didn't know he was living in a reality TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in his world, which is sad. Like if you look at the back, got released, it kind of got dark. But it was like, oh my God, this poor guy, he can't
Mm-hmm.
leave. Yes, so everyone's fake around him, like But that's
Yeah.
the thing. He was living, and when he would fall down, or when he got his heart broken, or when something went wrong, that's when the viewership would go up because people like were into the saga, like what's happening. And back in the day, I don't even know if soap operas technically, I think there's like one or two left, but that was the
Mm-hmm.
draw because people would say, I'm watching my stories. Like I had some
Mm-hmm.
neighbor who would never come out of her house between these times because she was watching her stories. It's like, okay. But that was her reality. Like she loved these people's lives. And so that was, of course, all fake. But I think that's why people are drawn in. They want to know when someone, and the whole Kardashian thing and the whole, my daughter, you'd obviously know Haley, grew up with her. The Vanderpump Rules is like she can tell you every detail of every character's life and how they intertwine it, why this is important and why this is, and who hates who and why, and it's like, wow, like there's so much, and I think that that just is another testimony why we need to be real because people want the real. They don't want the
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I'm sure and again, I'm going to mess up the statistic, but years ago, I remember a friend of mine was doing this study and found that if you told your videos and you do them vertical, which is the
Mhm.
standard TV format, right? And it was just great on LinkedIn. It's great on YouTube, right? It's long form video. And it's very polished. You sit behind a desk, you have a little graphic, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. It was very, when people started holding their cameras vertically, which is long form vertical, the viewership went up so high because people believed it was like live video was true versus
Mhm.
polished. And people wanted to
Mhm.
know, with everything going on, what was really true. They were so sick of like people shoveling BS, right? And so
Mhm.
I'm sure you find the same thing when you provide that kind of content for people. So has there been like I know we talked a little bit about your client stories. Has there been something that you tried and didn't work or wish, ooh, we shouldn't have gone that direction so people can learn from that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of along the same lines of overthinking everything, and you know, trying to make everything perfect. I know in working with pop sockets, we would think for a long time about video ideas, even every single time, every client, even my own stuff, overthinking um, how to make it perfect. What should I do here? Are people going to like this? And just like thinking about it way too much, or even like putting too much time into it, doing a lot of takes or like filming a bunch of stuff. That just like always, it just like never works because it's so much effort, right? So I think, and this is a great like tip. It's my tip that we're going to share. Keeping it simple. Yes, exactly. And it's a great tip because honestly, it's going to help, you to spend less time and have better results. Don't, isn't that what we always want? So,
Right,
um, every single time, literally not joking, every client account, every video, every single time I, just had an idea come to me out of the blue, super quick, like, um, executed it, filmed the video, posted it 5-10 minutes, like those go viral, like millions and millions of views. And it's insane because you're like, how do I plan for that? I'm such a planner. And so
right,
I'm telling you to not plan. I'm telling you to let things come to you naturally,
right.
just do it. So many videos where those videos, when I was like thinking about it and doing them, I would literally text my like assistant or my business partner, like, is this what do I say? I'm like, is this funny or dumb? Like, if you're thinking, like, if that's the question you have, like, is this like good or bad? Like, it could go either way. It's like that strong of a thing. It's usually good, and like definitely like put it out on the internet, and it'll probably do well for you.
That's awesome because the beauty of digital is that if it really sucks, you could take it down. I mean, they say there's a digital footprint, so it's all someone can always find it. But if you delete it off your page or off your feed or whatever, it's just not as accessible for except for people who want to find certain things, right? But for the majority of the time, it's okay. Like we
Yeah.
teach, on courses and, obviously social as well. And people are like, oh my gosh, I said, that's the beauty. It's not back in the day where you had a printed book and you'd have to throw all the books away and
Hmm.
reprint them if there was something wrong. Now you just go in and edit it. Like it's so
Hmm.
much better. But I would imagine, based on because you have a company that manages for people, there has to be a strategy, right? You can't just do everything off the cuff. You have to
Yes.
overarching strategy. How do you kind of um, how do you kind of take a step back and look at that? Is it all based on campaigns? Is it based on time of year? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think my main foundation of when I'm doing content strategy for myself or other brands would be it's definitely about timeliness, what's happening right now, what's trending right now, what are people talking about, doing a lot of research on social media already. Another tip that I would have is like, just not copy, but get inspired by other people, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
scrolling on TikTok, first step if you want to like start creating content would be to look and see what other people are doing, right? Like this is not the first year of social media being a huge thing. There's people who have done it for so long, had so much success. So like they've already like laid the blueprint and have the pathway paved for you, So like
Right,
go see what's working for them. You don't have to start from scratch. A lot
right,
of my videos are inspired by other creators. Whether that's using the same music or the same concept, because it's never going to be the same exact video, right? Because you are your
right.
own person, you have your own personality, your own everything. So if you take inspiration from somebody else, that's going to give you a head start. And yeah, just really going to like help you get there. So I would say like doing the research, literally find other creators or marketers or influencers or whoever, like
Like in
exactly
your
what.
industry, you mean? Like somebody like if you sold, like I was just talking to a client of mine who does cybersecurity software. And
Mhm.
so looking and seeing what other people in the cybersecurity industry are doing, right?
Yeah.
Getting ideas. And you might actually be the first. If you're in a very niche industry, there might
Mhm.
not people doing hardly anything. And
Yeah.
so can you imagine, standing out? Now you mentioned something that I thought was kind of interesting because I had some follow-up question on this, but you gave me, I asked you for a brilliant marketing share.
Mhm.
And this is your marketing share that TikTok has 1 billion people globally, monthly, I should say, global monthly active users. So there's so many new eyes to discover your brand or product. So I have a follow-up question to this, but tell me what you meant by this.
Yeah, so I think people sometimes are still looking at TikTok as like, oh, the silly like Gen Z people where they're just like doing dances or whatever. But it's like so much more than that now. And it's just social media has, you know, democratized the way that you can get yourself seen, right?
Right.
And especially TikTok is built so perfectly for the little guy or the small business to go viral with your story and really connect with people because people on there are willing to hear you out and willing to buy your product if they believe in it. So I think my tip would be or my share would be to give TikTok a chance if you haven't yet and have some fun with it. I think you'd be surprised at how much traction you can get from it.
Sure, and it's so easy. But conversely, we
Mhm.
talked about this a little bit, and you said it'd be okay to ask you. There's a lot of drama, a lot of controversy right now about TikTok, and it might be going away in the US.
Mhm.
One, what is your opinion on that? And two, if it does go away, what is your solution to that?
Yes, great questions. I mean, this is definitely a hot topic right now, and I've been doing a lot of research and figuring out my opinion and obviously plans for the future since it's so tied up into my livelihood and career at the moment.
Yeah,
Um, so I think I'm a big fan of TikTok. It has brought me so many opportunities and so many people around me that I've seen other creators who have built careers and brands. And I think it just, like I said before, gives such an opportunity for the person who isn't known, isn't seen to finally have eyes on something amazing they're creating. So I absolutely love it for that. Of course, it's sad to see that there's issues going on in the back end that kind of threatens that, I guess. In my ideal world, obviously, I would love TikTok to stick around and also have more of those security issues taken care of. Not sure exactly what's going to happen with that. So, of course, we always need to have a backup plan. I would
right.
say that at the moment, for my brand and my clients' brands, we're suggesting to start building an audience on other platforms if you haven't yet.
Right.
So what I'm doing for my gift guide specifically, so my main following for my gift guide, Gabby's gift guide, is on TikTok. I have almost 250,000 followers there. So obviously that's huge. And like, that's my main platform. So I'd hate for it to go away. But, at the same time, I am posting all of my videos on YouTube as well. YouTube is obviously tried and true, been here forever, not going anywhere. So they're also prioritizing short form vertical video content on YouTube Shorts. So I'm building out my portfolio there, having my followers, go over there as well. And then I also just recently launched an email newsletter. So that's kind of my way of taking, the people who are my followers on TikTok and getting their email, getting their contact information. So now they're like in my ecosystems, because that's what you have to think about, right? If social media, all of the social medias could go down tomorrow in theory, and everything you've built there could be gone if you don't have them somewhere else under your belt. So that's what I'm working on as well.
That is awesome. Yep. I've been screaming into the wind since 2009 when we launched our software, like not just buy my software, but do something to grow your list, because it used to be those who die with the biggest toys win. Now it's the biggest list, right? Because you can then, if you ever decide to sell your business, if you have a list of 10,000, 20,000 active email lists that actually respond and open your emails and things like that, your business is so much more valuable
Yeah.
as your exit strategy, right? So we all have to think about that and protect it. It's like business insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a business asset, obviously. So it's a two for one. So I love that you're doing that. So smart, girl. So smart. Okay, but also like other brands like copy features. So I know Instagram kind of took the idea of reels from TikTok, and so
Yeah.
they're always trying to add all the other things. You didn't even mention Instagram. Do you ever put your repurpose your TikTok onto Instagram?
Yeah, so I am actually not even a huge fan of Instagram. I think
Hmm.
with Reels, they've, like you said, they've really tried to emulate what TikTok can give, and I don't think they've
Copied.
been,
Yes, we know it's copying them.
yes, and I don't think they've been very successful at that.
Mm,
So I
okay.
I haven't seen that it'd be worth it for me to post content on there as my gift guide, because um, it's the discoverability part, right? Like TikTok algorithm is so good for discovering new people being discovered, and Instagram just still doesn't have that. It's really, they're trying, and maybe it'll get better if they're the only option.
Right.
But I would say, yeah, I would say, and I don't know, that just Instagram is trying so many different things at once. They can't nail anything at the moment, is my opinion, but
Right.
that might change as well.
Yeah. I was actually at the Social Media Marketing World Conference a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about, of course, all the different hello, it's Social Media Marketing World. And so they're actually saying that there is kind of a hidden agenda
Mm,
regarding Meta that
yeah.
it's called, oh, now I'm blanking on it. I have a picture of it. I think it's called unconnected, unconnected something. Anyways, I did a reel about it, but it's basically saying is they're trying to show your content to people who are unrelated or unconnected to you. And so that's a new initiative that's driving forward. So
Mhm.
it puts the onus on the business owner to create content that is both educational and entertainment, right? They call
Mhm.
it edutainment.
Yeah.
Because new people who've never even heard of you is this unconnected, right? So if you can do something that your friends will think is clever and fun and they will share it, then it'll share people that are in their unconnected and in your, so that whole like junior high congruent circles, they have two friends and they have two friends, right? All the new people. So that's a thing. So I think they're picking up on the fact that TikTok has nailed that that algorithm,
Yeah.
and they're trying to copy it. So yeah, but I think, but it's good that you have, you're saving all of your stuff and you can repurpose on any
Mhm.
content, any platform that comes up, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Something I failed to ask you earlier is how do you get to work with the cool brands that you do? Like we talked about PopSocket
Yeah, that's a great
and Hubba
question.
Bubba. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at all the thing and Hubba Bubba. You have all these fun brands. So how did you that come about?
Yes, you'll see my face on a lot of brand pages, which was definitely a goal of mine because I think that's so fun. Um, so a lot of it is, I guess it's two parts. So one would be just networking and people that you know. A lot of these brand connections have come from people I went to school with or people that I've worked with before, or I go to a ton of networking and social media events out here in Los Angeles. So meeting people there. And even if you don't think it's a strong connection at the moment, like they might know someone who knows someone. So
Sure.
a lot of our clients have come from just people within our network. We went to one event out here in LA and met this guy named Matt, and he just seemed really cool. You know, no big deal. He was like, "Oh, I work in a marketing agency. Would love to like work with you guys someday." So we're like, "Cool." And then we, you know, followed him on social media, chatted a little bit, and then realized later that he's Matthew Lowe, who's Rob Lowe's son, which we didn't connect for a while. And then we're like, "Oh wow, like he's a big deal." And then the marketing agency he works at is absolutely huge, like $1 billion company. They work with top brands, and they do traditional media, and we're wanting, you know, TikTok experts to come in and help with their brands. And that's how we got Hubba Bubba, because Mars is their client. So we started making content for them. And so it all starts, you know, with just meeting people and expanding your network. And then the other side of
It's
it,
awesome. It's 100% relationships is all. I mean, I'm 100% like, thank you for saying that because it's true. And you never burn a bridge because you never
yeah.
know. He might move from that company to another company and it would bring you along. So it's all
Mhm.
about the connections. And our business has been 100% like relationships. And,
Yeah.
since we started in 1988, which is, I don't know, about the year you were born, right? Right? Yeah, I
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Trying to be nice. I get it. I'm sorry. Finish your story. So that's yeah, so you met this gentleman, he brought you in, and so how did that start? Like he just said, "Let's create stuff." You have a contract, things like that?
Yeah, so we just, you know, chatted for a while back and forth, trying to figure out what would be best. And then we started with our Hubba Bubba content. We made a few videos for them for their TikTok to like relaunch that. And, you know, we still have a great relationship with them and might do more content in the future.
That's
Um,
that's not what before I'm sorry, I was want to be more clear. Like, did you like grab a stick of Hubba Bubba and make a sample for them, like, and show that you love their brand? Or was it they basically just looked at what you've done before and said, do something similar for us? Or how did that work out?
yeah, that's a great question. There was a lot that went into it. And I'm sure that's probably interesting for your viewers. So I can talk about it a little bit. Um, So the marketing agency that primarily works with Mars and Hubba Bubba, they were pitching them on like, let's revamp your TikTok. And so what they did was they created a massive pitch deck, probably 30 slides or so, with the concepts and the images and the references and the creators and outlining everything that we could possibly do for them on TikTok. And then they would send that to my team to just kind of like redirect them in the right direction and like tweak a few things, because, you know, we were the TikTok experts, they weren't necessarily, but they were experts on the brand and the client and stuff like that. So that's how we kind of worked together.
Okay.
We came up with the TikTok references and the video ideas and things like that, what we could do. And so we pitched that to them, they approved everything, we filmed it, you know, a couple rounds of edits, and then it was finally posted.
But did you get the contract even to start the whole strategy at the beginning? Or did you have to do all that work and then get a contract to actually produce the videos?
Yeah, so when we're creating the pitch decks and everything, that's it. You know, nothing was set. We didn't know what we were going to be working on or how much or anything at that point. It was really just trying to sell the client on what we could do for them. And that's
Okay.
what all of pretty much social media agencies are like, which is the hard part about it, if I'll be honest, is, um, you know, when you maybe have a lead, a client lead, a brand who might want to work with you, there's so much work you have to do up front of, you know, proving your value and what you can do for them and why this is
Right.
important. And like I was talking about earlier, a lot of brands don't see TikTok as being that important right now. So we're trying to convince them that it is and what we can do. And so that's, you know, maybe a couple month process of doing a lot of work without having any deal on the table necessarily yet. And especially
Right.
if it doesn't come through, then that's kind of not wasted time, but
Sure.
difficult part of running a business and trying to close deals for sure.
Right. Well, there's a term, it's called betting on the come, right? So you're doing all the
Yeah.
work ahead of time,
Hmm.
betting that something big will come, and that does get frustrating.
Yeah.
And as you grow as as a agency, slowly as you get to the point where you can say, okay, we have a fee for our strategy.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
have a fee for creating, a pitch deck that you can give to your clients. And it'll get to that point. Just wanted to let you know. I mean that,
Yeah, we've done that a couple times. And usually if they do sign on, we'll include that money they spent on the deck into the fee, so it's like a part of
yes.
it, and also
Yeah.
another incentive. So there's ways to work around that for sure.
Very cool. I just want to encourage you
Yeah, yeah.
because I think that sometimes we think I have to do everything for free, and at the end, they already got all the content, all the strategy, all the things up front, and it does get frustrating. So I just want to give you hope. So,
Yeah.
but you're killing the game, girl. I'm so proud of you. Okay, we're winding down because I know that you're a busy girl, and I want to see some of the other questions I had here for you. Um, so let's bring it back around to the business owners that are maybe watching this.
Mhm.
So, what is the first thing people should do to get started creating viral content? I mean, I know not everything is going to hit it out of the park, and the less you plan, the better it is. But what
Mhm.
would be the first thing people should do, or maybe the top, two or three things?
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to get started today, again, I would say to do research on what other people are doing right now and translate that into who you are and what you want to say. When I first started my gift guide on TikTok, basically my goal was I wanted to start getting brand deals, to start making money from it, because I had a different TikTok account that was entertainment news, and it just wasn't set up well for brand partnerships, and that's the only kind of main way to make money at the moment with that.
Right.
So I had paused on that account, started this new account. And so what I wanted to do was from the beginning, make all of my videos talking about the brands I love, gift recommendations, product recommendations, so that once I started doing sponsorships where, people would pay me to talk about their product, it wouldn't seem out of the blue or weird. Like all the videos would sound and look the same. And
Very
so it would
cool.
just be set up really well for that. So that was my idea from the beginning. And then my strategy was to post twice a day, every day, from Monday to Friday for, however long. But I ended up doing that for 2 months straight. And, I was just starting a new account. So it
Sure.
definitely wasn't going viral
Every
yet.
day, twice a day, even Saturday and Sunday. Like you're doing every day, just
Just
creating.
Monday through Friday.
Oh, Monday through Friday. Okay.
Yes. So twice a day. So that's about 10 videos a week, right?
Right.
And I do a lot
Seems
of batch
doable. I
contenting.
mean, they're short. I mean, if you
They're
can
short.
do them, right? Batch
Yeah.
them in and get them done, and then you could live your best life, right?
Yeah, so that was the plan. And I ended up doing that for about 2 months before my first viral video kind of took off. So it takes, a little bit of time. Um,
Yeah, if I could interrupt for a second, what was it? What was that one video that took off?
yeah, so it was a video that took me probably 2 minutes to make. Um, and it's so crazy because there was a lot of like strategy behind it. I think just with like all the years of experience and all the things that I've done, like that's just like ingrained into it for me. So even though it's like, oh my gosh, it was so easy for me, like it's just because I'm experienced, I guess. But
Sure.
um
Practice makes perfect, right?
yes,
Yes.
yes. So um basically when I was doing my gift guide, there's so many different things you can talk about with gifts, right? There's a holiday every month. There's so many things you can talk about. So I was really trying to decide what should I actually talk about. And when I was starting, I just covered everything under the sun, Mother's Day, Easter, like all the holidays and topics. And then when my viral video took off, it was kind of like a relatable joke or meme about how hard it is to buy gifts for men, right? Like it's always about whiskey glasses and wallets. And it's like, you can only give that so many times, or maybe they don't drink whiskey. And that's like, those are the like stereotypical guy gifts, right? But we want
Right.
other ideas than that, right? So I made a video like that and people loved it. It was so relatable. They're like, I can never find any gifts for my husband or my brother or whatever. So that's when I really was able to refine my strategy even more and say, okay, now all my followers, because I gained a bunch from that video, now I know it's women who have a man in their life that sucks to shop for. So that's like from then on out, like that's all the videos that I did was like gifts for men, because I knew that's what people wanted. So yeah, there's my page. You can check it out.
Yeah, in
Um,
fact, I'm gonna bring myself down into the green room and I'm gonna make it big and you can kind of like point out certain things, okay? So I'm gonna go
okay,
down
sure.
and then I'll have it be big just to show everyone.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, back to the question of how, what you should start with, I would say try a bunch of things. I was talking about every different video idea, gift guide, holiday, whatever. And then once you have a viral video, you can see what people actually want and gravitate toward from that. And then you're going to take that. And that's now your new, like, even more targeted niche. And it really helps because then you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, what should I create a video about today? There's so much. I have so many ideas. It can help narrow it down for you. So these are the videos I've done so far. A lot of gifts for your boyfriend. If you do recurring series, part 1, part 2, part 3, that's great because people know what to expect. There's some Valentine's ones that I did. And, I would say come up with content pillars that you want to focus on as well. I do vlogging is one where I'll go shopping for gift ideas. Just a normal gift guide is another one that I do where I'll just talk about gifts that I'm loving with screenshots from the website. These are a bunch of brand deals from Christmas time. But yeah, you can see a lot of them are gifts for him. So now a lot of the brand deals that I do are men's products, which is so funny because I just get
Reduce your expectations to 0.
Yeah, so a lot of TikTok's great with memes, obviously. So as much as you can be relatable and funny is really gonna help you go viral for sure. But yeah, that was kind of how I started the gift guide and how obviously gift giving itself is a very niche topic, right? So I would say niche down to something that can make you stand out. Try a bunch of stuff within that. Once you have some traction or go viral on one video, know that that's what people really want. And then you can focus on that and just repeat the same thing over and over again. That's pretty much what I do.
I love that. And I only clicked on that one because it had so many views. It had like 50,000 views on that. And what's interesting is you didn't talk about a product in that
Mhm.
video, right? You're just being kind of funny and silly about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And so, uh, would that be a suggestion as well? Like mix up your content and not only be like buy for me, but something that might be a little bit more silly?
Yeah, of course. I saw something recently that was super helpful for even me, but I would say there's two different types of content that you should do on any page, on any platform, whatever. First one is low context. So, meaning,
Hmm.
um, you know, a new person can watch your video and they don't need to know a lot about who you are and what you do to understand it and to be invited into your platform, your brand, whatever you're saying. That's going to get the new people in. That's the funny stuff. That's the lighthearted stuff, the relatable. Um, that's what's going to bring people in. And then the second type of content that you should also include periodically is high context. So the stuff where your community, you have to know the inside jokes. You have to have seen my last video to know what I'm talking about. Because that makes you feel like, oh, now we're friends and now
You're on
you're
the
in
in crowd, right? The
you're on the
popular
in crowd.
girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So that's kind of the two different types of videos you should be doing 50-50, right? So you're bringing new eyes in at the same time that you're cultivating the community that you have.
I love that. And is that why so many people do the part 1, part 2?
Yeah, I think that helps a series like that, so people come back, they want to see it. And it's almost like a TV show, right? We're kind of comparing TV to TikTok. It's really like that, especially with people going there for their entertainment now. It feels like you're watching the new episode in your latest reality show, like we were talking about, right? So if you cut it up that way, people are going to consume it that way as well.
That's awesome. Okay, so this brings me to my because gosh, I could talk to you all day. It's so much fun, and we'll be
Yeah.
talking more about the book, which is going to be fun. But if someone is like, okay, I get the ideas for my own brand, but maybe they want to become an influencer for other brands like you,
Mhm.
what would you suggest they do to do that?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question too.
Because you maybe
So
have to hire them someday. I'm just saying.
yes, I would love to hire you. Um, I think, for my gift guide, just for my brand deals for that, I was getting a ton of inbound leads, right? So brands coming to me saying, we want you to promote our product. And that was simply because I was posting so often. So many people were seeing my stuff.
That's
So
awesome.
if you put yourself out there, people are going to see it. Probably the right person's going to see it. So that's one way to get noticed by brands. Another is to just go for it yourself and like pitch yourself, put together a media kit, have some traction, have something that you can kind of show for what you want to do. Or even if you have nothing, say, I have these great ideas. I think I could do this for your brand. Just search for the email of the social media person at that company, email them. Cold emails, of course, are always difficult. Sometimes they never get opened. Sometimes
Right.
people see it and it's perfect, but you got to try, right? So I think a mix of outbound and inbound reaching out.
I love it. Would you suggest going through an agency that specializes in marketing creators to brands? Is that a thing?
Yeah, there's a ton of agencies like mine out there right now that you could reach out to too, because we're the ones with the brand connections. Sometimes we have multiple, right? So
Relationships, yeah.
yeah, so you can say, hey, I'm a content creator, or I do X, Y, and Z, and I'd love to work with the brands that you have, if that's possible. And sometimes, maybe they'll reply and say, hey, like, yeah, that sounds great. We don't have anything right now, but like, we'll keep you in mind. And so that's a great way to do it too.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Again, just being authentic, be you, either for your brand or a brand who might be interested in hiring you. I mean, that'd be kind of a fun side hustle. That's cool. But you are obviously your company, which I'll put up here again, which is Digital Magician Studios. And I just realized I didn't put that website, but is it digitalmagicianstudios.com?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put that in the show notes when we air this. But I also want to encourage everyone to get the gift guide, because that will also give you some great ideas, not only for gifts, but it'll also give you some great ideas. You can get on our newsletter list,
Mhm.
and people, you could see how it's done, that you can use as, again, imitation is the highest form of flattery, right? As
Yes.
getting ideas from Gabby, which is awesome. And I think, did I put it up on the, um, it's here, gabbygonta.com/Gabby's gift guide. I'll also put
Yes.
that in the show notes so you can click onto that. And it's just a form to fill out, which is easy peasy. So that is awesome. All right. So Gabby, we're going to wrap up the show. I'm going to put you in the green room for the final wrap up. But then if you can stick around, I want to take a cute little picture of us so we can promote the show and promote your gift
Sounds
guide. Is
good.
that cool?
Yep. Thanks so much, Mary. This was so fun talking with you.
Oh, it's so much fun seeing you in a professional light. I know this sounds silly, but I'm so proud of you. I just you are killing the game. Again, I've been in marketing for, like I said, it's my 35th year in December. And so I've seen all forms of marketing, what works, what doesn't. And obviously, you're doing something that's working and blessing so many people, and using your influence for good, like helping brands make more money so they can hire more people and do more good in the world. Because, they say that, money isn't evil, but being poor is what there's a term is that people think, oh, I don't want to make any money. Well, that's silly. You can do more when you have the money to do good with it. So
Yes.
I encourage people to figure out how to do this. Sign up with Gabby, learn from her, in her experience. Obviously, she knows what she's doing. So that's awesome. All right, I'm going to put you down and we're going to wrap it up. And I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Again, thanks everybody for watching this
Thank
today.
you.
Again, this has been the Brilliant Marketing with Mary show. We aired every Thursday at 12:30. I hope this has blessed you with some great information to help you build your brand, and help it go viral, which we love to do. All right, girl. All right, I will see you in a couple minutes. And until then, you guys have a blessed day and be brilliant in all you do.